what would I play against the Nimzowitsch? So the Nimzowitsch opening is with this move knight to c6, and after d4, mostly they play d5. If they play e5, I mean, d5 and takes I think are great options, but my top recommendation would be to transpose into a Scotch and then into a Goring. If they play something else like knight to f6, then I think here you can get at minimum just a simple Alekhine transposition, and at maximum potentially once you defend this pawn with f4, then maybe d5 and to really run them all over. So I think really the only thing people play here is with this move d5, and I think something they want probably is for you to play e5, because then you're going to get a French structure after e6. That would be a French structure. However, they're going to play bishop f5, and only then are they going to shut the door, right? e6 they didn't play on the first move of the game as in a French. So now their bad French bishop is actually a great bishop. It's on the other side of this e6 pawn. And so that's what they're going for. And then maybe they can even arrange for like c5, attacking c2, all that. So we're not going to give them that. This is a very long-winded way of saying my recommendation is a gambit, and it is this move knight to c3, attacking d5 one more time. Black really has no choice but to take this pawn. If they now play e6, like in a French, then you play e5. Or even, nothing wrong with knight f3. Nothing wrong with knight f3. But, yes, now you would play e5, and their knight is now very awkwardly located, blocking the main French idea of c5. So this is a bad French for black, I would call this. And you can play this with f4 and f3, great center. What black should probably do is take this pawn. It looks like white might be losing a pawn, which might be the sort of trend we're looking for, right? Because if you recapture here, they can take this. That would be a fun gambit. The best move here, I think, is just with d5. And now if you're black, you're in a kind of a tough situation as to where this knight goes. Yeah, the top recommendation of the engine is actually just knight to b8 and allowing this knight takes e4, which, you know, you can tell probably is looking pretty good for white. Yeah, the most common move here, yeah, so knight b4, you can just chase that away with a3. No worries there. The knight needs to go back to a6. It has nothing doing here or here, and you wouldn't have any problems recollecting on e4. Most common is knight e5, and then I believe after queen d4, it's saying even better is this. So, again, you can get your pawn back, but you can also play this with bishop f4, knight here, bishop g3. This looks pretty fun. What's the point? Is it to attack? Ah! Tricky, tricky, tricky. So, okay, I can turn off the engine now and increase the zoom. So the idea, interesting. This pawn is actually very powerful. So we're playing your bishop f4, right? Knight g6, what else would you do? Bishop back. Hard to do anything else if you're black. If you play something like e6, then check can pin this bishop. And now after takes, you're going to have to go like f takes, which sucks. So if something like knight f6, though, now knight b5, and all of a sudden black is having huge problems defending c7. If they play the very obvious knight takes d5. What's up, Roland? Bunny Hop, welcome, welcome. If they play the very obvious knight takes d5, then we can actually, well, c4 makes a lot of sense, but we have an even nicer move that you might be able to guess. Yeah, it's with queen takes d5, and then picking up a piece after this very nice fork. Very nice pattern that you should know there of even sacrificing the queen to win her back, and white would be up a piece here. So, great question. What would I play against the Nimzowitsch? Let's write that out. Hi. Great question. Let me put my arm there. I would recommend e4, knight c6, d4. Let's move that out as we do it so you guys can see what I'm talking about. e4, knight c6, d4, d5, knight c3. See if you can remember it. dx e4 and d5. At worst, white is getting their pawn back with no trouble. And you have the likely trap of knight e5, bishop f4. That would be this position. Attacking the knight, knight g6, bishop g3. With the threat of knight b5. Smiley face, and I'll even like their comment. Good stuff. What would I recommend here after e5? Was kind of something I was thinking about that could potentially cut you off. If we just en passant, I think they would just recapture. I think the point might just be simple knight takes e4. Let me double check this. Okay. Oh, you can en passant this just to open this back up and hit him with knight b5. Your rook will recapture here really nicely. And this is like bordering on impossible to defend between the knight here and the bishop, and no long castle being legal thanks to the rook. So actually fun stuff there. Yeah, the c7 threat suddenly becomes very serious out of nowhere. Good pattern to keep in mind.
William Grave, the Gambit man, takes his seat at the board. e4, e5, knight f3, bishop c5. The Bushcast Gambit on the board. On with the Gambit classes. Hero pawn unlocked.